Hello, fellow preppers. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One. Why we prepare? Well, it looks like there was a power outage down in Northern California due to the windstorms we had over the weekend. About 95,000 people were out without power for about a day or so. I mean, that's no big deal. I guess even if you're not prepared, you might be able to last 24 hours without electricity, but it's just nice to be able to turn on some lights and maybe watch TV if you've got something to, a little power inverter or something, just something to keep life normal. And I guess also in California, I've read that looks like they're going to run out of water. Now there's a reason to prepare, that's for sure. That's a scary thought, running out of water. Real scary thought. Other than that, I guess there's been some, cold spells, snaps back east, more snow being dumped, more rain, and I guess where the snow's starting to melt, they've got more water than what they can, handle. Flooding, mudslides. So there's just always something, a reason to prepare, reasons to prepare. But I read this one article on the internet, and it was talking about some other reasons to prepare. I mean, things that can kill you or make life miserable. That, as opposed to worrying about things like earthquakes or EMPs and solar flares. And they were just talking about things like traffic accidents. I mean, that could be, a life-ending or life-altering event, in the blink of an eye. So, I mean, as you're driving, of course, I know you're not using your cell phone or texting, but it's just, to be mindful, to drive defensively, know what's all around you. Just be alert. Because just in the blink of an eye, things can change. I mean, there could be things like a medical emergency in your family. If somebody gets sick, you get sick. You could lose your job, and if you've got a family, kids, because you didn't prepare, there might not be any food in the pantry, nothing in the cupboard. Just things like that. Or perhaps it's cold out, and for whatever reason your furnace dies. And maybe it happens on a Friday night. There's nobody to fix it but you, and for whatever reason you don't have the part. Maybe you've got the tools, but you don't have the part. And it's going to be really cold. What are you going to do? Just things like that. Maybe you've got an electric blanket. Maybe you just got plenty of wool blankets that you can pile under and dress real warm. It's just things like that that have to prepare for. And of course, some people think we're crazy for preparing, but it doesn't matter what they think. You got to decide for yourself. And that's a big thing about prepping, is deciding for yourself, taking care of yourself, that self-reliance. Even though, there's a debate going on. I guess it's one of those debates that'll never be settled, about the lone prepper versus being part of a group, that you just can't survive alone. You can't protect yourself and things of that nature. But as I think I alluded to on my last video about prepping, why we prepare, is that sometimes, people, they just can't seem to figure it out. They fight over silly things like Facebook posts. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, if you're going to fight over a Facebook post now, what kind of behavior is to be expected when the stuff really hits the fan? I mean, it's just ludicrous to me. If I post something and somebody doesn't like it, they want to fuss and fight about it, I mean, that's crazy. If they post something and I don't like it, I just scroll by. I'm an admin on half dozen or so Facebook pages and things like that. admin or moderator on a couple of meetup.com pages. For the most part, really don't have any problem. But every now and then, have to step in and referee, and that's just it. But, do things to deliberately cause problems and try to split up the group and turn preppers against each other. And I mean, is that what it's going to come down to? If the stuff hits the fan? I realize there's, just that nature of people. Some people just have to do whatever they can just to cause problems. I mean, if you don't like a post, you could say it once, and you don't have to be rude about it and call names. Just say, I disagree with this post, and leave it at that. But to me, just roll on. I mean, is your opinion so valuable, so urgent that you have to put it out there and for everybody to stomach it? But maybe it is. But if all it is just causing problems, that's no good. And just to add a little more twist to it, most people are probably in prepper land, well, so I just say some people, they belong to more than one of these Facebook groups. And for the most part, that's all they do is they post on Facebook and, go back and forth. But, one of the groups I'm in, we're active. We actually meet every month up and down the coast here. We go to different towns, so there's different people show up, and there's some people that show up to most of the meetings. Just depends on how far they have to drive. I mean, sometimes I have to drive 100 miles to go to a meeting. If one's way down south or way up north, but that's just, that's just how it goes. But, cause dissension amongst the group, it's just, that's ridiculous. Especially when you see a post on one group and all you do is rant and rave, but then that same person posted the same thing in another group and you don't say anything. To me, that's hypocritical. If I don't like a post and I see it in more than one place, I pretty much say the same thing. Or it's just like, belonging to certain groups, more than one group. If I have something to post on the one group, I usually post it across the board. I mean, there's some groups that, they have certain rules. They don't want politics. They don't want religion. They don't want government. They just want pure how-to prepping. Well, you abide by the rules. Other groups, it's more of a free-for-all. It's more open, more inclusive. But some people, I don't know. I mean, adults just acting up. But it just goes to show something that you're going to have to deal with now and when the stuff hits the fan. Because if you've got a prepper group, it might just be a half dozen people. It could be 60, it could be 600. But you're going to have these times where people are going to butt heads. They're going to be puffing out their chests and try and prove something. I don't know what. They're going to disagree, and they're going to cause dissension and could split the group. And if it was really a stuff hits the fan situation, that could really threaten the group to have that type of person, that type of behavior. It's just got to be stamped out now. So anyway, that's probably enough for this video. I appreciate you guys watching and listening. Like your comments of support. And if you disagree with me, I like those comments too, because sometimes, I learn more from those who disagree than from those who agree, because those who disagree are going to bring new information to the table, hopefully, and they're just not going to name call and say something stupid or something's wrong without proof to back it up. So, that being said, as you all know, if you fail to prepare today, you're preparing to fail tomorrow.